Hey guys, in this video we got the Kraton 8S. This is the RTR version, and in this video we're going to get it out of the box. We're going to see what you get with this RTR kit, and then we're going to test it. At the end of the video you're going to get our review, but for right now, check it out guys. This is the Kraton 8S. So the first thing we want to do is get this thing out of the box. I can't wait. Barely fits on the table. Here we go. Wow, that's cool. You need to look at this. All right, let's try and get this thing out of the box. Here we go. And now for something that I find to be super enjoyable. This is one of the things you get to do one time. Check it out. Now that's truly awesome. I can't wrap my mind around how big this thing is. You know, I've got 5th scale cars, 6, 7, and 8, and 10th scale. But this thing's a monster. But before we get into the car, guys, check this out. This is what comes with the car in the box. And the first thing I get is the DX3. This is a darn good radio. It's comfortable in the hand. The spring tension's good on both the trigger and the wheel. It's got some nice features on it. It's got the AVC right here so you can control your vehicle control. The brake rate's nice right there. If you wind up having your vehicle like try to endo when you get on the brakes, you can dial that back right here, and it's a really good system. Your steering and your throttle trims are here. Your reversing for your servos is right there. And then of course it has the throttle limiter right here, which allows you to go 100%, 75%, or 50% on the throttle. So if you hand it to a friend, they're not all that skilled, kick her right down to 50%, they can drive it around. There's a lot less chance of disaster that way. All in all, it's a really good, comfortable radio to play with, and if you're using the actual Spectrum batteries and whatnot, they'll show you the battery level right here for the smart batteries. Pretty trick setup. I really do like these radios. Also in the packet, you get a nice little toolkit here. It's got some extra pieces that they must feel are, you know, a little susceptible. There's extra pieces there. You also have a snap ring remover to help you get the drive axles out, and of course a wheel wrench. Pretty basic, but at the same time what you'll need for certain applications for the car. You've got this small manual here, and this one is actually very important, guys. It's little tiny, but at the same time, deep inside of this, not only does it show you the explode for the differentials and shocks and whatnot, which is very helpful when working on the car, it has the explode for the entire vehicle. Now this will help you with all the part numbers for all the various parts that are in there. You can see how things are supposed to go together, And if that's not enough, in the big manual right here, they go over it in depth. And the nice thing is they cover everything. So when you get deep inside of this, it shows you speed control, shows you how to get things in and out, how things are supposed to be working in the car, and all that stuff. Really good information here. And of course, you get the traditional sticker packet from Arrma. All in all, very nice. One thing I did notice that's missing is I'm not really seeing a warranty packet with this, and maybe it got missed in mine, but at the same time, usually that's in there. You know, I just can't get over how big this thing is. Now, I saw them in the store and I was impressed, but when you actually pull one out of the box, the size is stunning. Keep in mind, I am 6.5 feet tall, guys, and this thing is enormous. I'm really impressed with the way they put it together, at least on the outside. Let's get the top off and let's see what makes it tick. All right, to get a look down inside of this, guys, check that out. That's pretty cool there. So you've got 160 amp speed control there. This is a pretty burly speed control, and it does have a cap pack right on the wiring harness there, which is kind of nice. That sort of prevents cogging and whatnot. It does have a 1250 kV motor in it, and that's a really torquey motor. The servo, it's sort of middle of the road as far as speed and stuff goes, but it's strong enough. It's 40 kilograms of thrust, so it's strong enough to control the tires, if not super fast when you do that. The differentials are oil filled, and they are set up with 500K in the ends here, 1 million on the inside here. So that's pretty good. The bracing in it's really tough. The arms look pretty brutal, nice and thick, heavy. I hope that they're not very brittle. It's still a good temperature around here right now this time of year, so we'll see how those hold up. All in all, it looks just like a smaller 8 scale, only bigger, but you can tell, you know, with the chassis brace here and all that, that the geometry and everything has been adjusted for the 5th scale cars. The tires look about the same as the 8th scale one, except they're much bigger. They have a nice feel to them, like there's a little more dense core in it than usual, so it'll be curious to see if these things swell up or not. The shocks feel really good. They're really stiff. I'm not sure what the oil is in there, but they feel good. It will bottom out if you push down, guys. See there? It'll go right down. So if you hit hard, the chassis can slap the ground and it'll take some of the load off of the suspension when you hit hard. The wing looks like a giant version of what comes on the 8S Kraton, so that's not too big of a surprise. Overall, it looks really nice here. There's the transfer case in the middle here, has a bunch of gears in there, and it does have that aluminum center differential that is pretty impressive. So basically, that's pretty much it, other than the battery trays here. If you can get a good look at this, the battery trays here, there's a slider right here that you can loosen up from underneath, and it allows you to adjust the battery tray out to fit whatever size batteries you want to put in it. It does require 2 batteries to hit the 8S, that'd be 4S and 4S. But other than that, that's pretty much the layout. Everything looks real straightforward, real solid, real dense. I don't want to go into too much technical stuff here because, let's be honest, we're going to dig this thing out of the box. We're going to go out and beat the crap out of it and see what it can take. And that's what most people that buy these are going to do. You don't need to know all the little details, and if you do, there's other YouTube channels out there that do that. What we do here is we show you what you get in the box and we test them. So there you go, guys. That's the Kraton 8S, what comes in the box. Don't forget you're going to need batteries for the transmitter and batteries for the car, and you'll need a charger if you don't already have that as well. So that really only leaves one thing left to do, guys. Let's take this thing out and test it. Check this out. Okay guys, here we go. First run. Yeah! Oh! That thing's cool. That is cool as hell, that car. Okay, so there's the footage for the Kraton 8S. Now, my understanding is this is the version 2, and it comes with a different radio than the initial, and it's got some minor upgrades. Now, the thing is, I haven't had the version 1, so I don't really know all of the upgrades that are in it. Remember, this is a new car to me and the channel, but this is also something that I've kind of veered away from because I really didn't think a car that size would be that impressive. You know, you can look at them on YouTube or any video service of any kind and see these things run, but from a distance they look just like the 6S cars. But when you get one in your hands, and here's a quick demonstration, all right? Okay, check this out. This is touching me. Look how big that is. Okay, I am 6.5 feet tall, and this thing is 24 pounds. That's with the batteries in it. And it's a really big machine. And I was really hesitant to go ahead and throw the money at it because, one, if it's going to be kind of slow, I really didn't want to play with it. And two, if it was as fragile as they say the version 1 was, I didn't think it was worth throwing all that money at. So we waited. Now the upside is we waited the right amount of time because this thing is brutal and it's awesome. So let's get you down on the bench real quick. We'll show you the insides. We'll show you what happened inside the car. And then we'll get on with our 4 questions and you'll get the review. Check this out. Okay, so looking down over the top, you can see everything's in its right and proper place. Everything is clean. There's no damage to speak of. The body mount posts are good. Everything in the bracing down below is good. If you take a look at that top connection point right there, that did compact and push in. We had to readjust that one when we landed on our sides. But still, it's holding up nicely. Even the front arms, everything nice and straight. Like I say, the body posts are good. No damage to any of the front components. The shocks are still in good shape, nice and straight. Everything's working smoothly. Tires held up nicely. Even in the back, take a look at this. Everything held up. Looking at the chassis, look at that, guys. Very little damage. Everything is just rock spatter and stuff. There is one bit of abrasion right there, but it's nothing to speak of. A little abrasion on the arms, but they are still true and strong. Real nice there. Even on the front, they look just about brand new, don't they? Even the outdrive hubs, everything held up the way it's supposed to. I had literally no issues. Looking at the chassis, take a look at that. Nice and straight. I'm really surprised. Something this size, I'd expect it to bend some, but look how straight that chassis still is. And we were flying this big. So I'm impressed. I gotta tell you that. It's just amazing that that stayed straight at all. If you take a look at the bracing system here, the wheels, no brakes in the wheels. The braces, it's got the 2-point to the center on this instead of one long one across the top. That's a lot stronger than it would be with a solid piece. Everything nice and clean. Okay, so there you go. That's the internals. You know, we had almost zero damage. It was so close, and we really didn't have to replace any parts. It was simply an adjustment. Now, those pieces, you know, it's just a connecting rod there, and the pieces on the end are plastic. So when the wheel hit, it just compacted it. It skipped a few threads. We were able to back it out. It didn't come loose again that day. And I checked it. It's still pretty tough. I would consider replacing it with a new one, but until it fails, I'm not going to do that. This car right here is nothing short of impressive. Now, I'm glad I was surprised. I'm glad it really thrilled me because I really wasn't expecting a lot out of this car to start with. But once I got the radio in my hand and I got to start messing with it, running it at 8S, even through the water, some of those puddles we were hitting, guys, was really deep puddles. And at hydroplanes, stock straight out of the box. We had no actual changes to it at all. Everything was just as it came out of the box, and it outran the Xmaxx in a straight drag race. It outhandled it on the oval track. It's just more stable. You know, this sits a little lower to the ground. It's got a wider stance, and it just handles a lot more effectively. Get into the corners, and the Xmaxx would tip a little bit, and then it'd cartwheel. And you got to see a little of that. We raced all afternoon. What you saw was just what we chose to show you. It's not like we deleted anything. The stuff that crashed, you saw most of that. So this thing here, it flies really well, it handles really good, and just being stock, and keep in mind the Xmaxx was stock as well. So this one in a regular, looked like a 150-foot run, this easily beat it by 20 or 30 feet in each run. It wasn't just once, and I counted down one time, Rob counted down the next time, and it still won. So that's impressive. So as far as that goes, how does this thing rate as far as being tough goes? Well, we really did fly this thing a long ways, and we did it for an afternoon. We probably hit the ramp 30, 40 times with this thing. And it's pretty much unbroken. I mean, pretty much because we did have to readjust that one tri-rod, and that's, of course, this one back here. And it just took a minute with a wrench to tune it back out, and it held up the rest of the time. So as far as 5th scale, and is this thing tough? It's tough, all right. And I haven't had this kind of luck with most anything else. The DBXLE is a pretty tough truck, but right off the get-go, with just a little play and small jumps, we broke the connecting plates, the chassis braces. We broke the chassis braces and the top plate right out of the gate. This one, on the other hand, there's actually nothing inside of the truck that's broken, and it runs like crazy. That being said, you know what time it is. It's time to ask our 4 questions. And you guys know what those questions are. You watch the channel, you've seen this happen before. The 4 questions. Is it fun? Is it durable? Is it worth the money? And where does it stack up in my collection? So let's get on with it. Question 1, is it fun? Well, come on guys. This thing is an utter blast. You know, to see something that size move as quick and have as much power as this thing has, keep in mind, it is heavy, and so you really have to pay attention when driving. If you hook this into a tree or something, you're gonna break stuff, because at 24 pounds running 40, 50 miles an hour, depending on how you have it geared. This one, of course, is stock, so I'm imagining I'm going about 40 miles an hour. But if you hook that into a tree, you're gonna shatter what's in the front end. You just have to pay attention while driving, and we did order something cool for it. We're gonna go ahead and put this on it right after the video. And this is the front bumper to the EXB. This has the front and the skids. We're going to go ahead and put that on the front just to get a little bit of protection. That's something I think is going to be necessary. You know, when you come down on the nose, it hits this blunt force area right there, and it transfers a lot of shock wave through the vehicle. Those EXB bumpers really do absorb a lot of that, so that's a good thing. As far as the fun rating goes, I'm going to give this one 10 out of 10 for fun, guys. I had an utter blast. It was amazing, and I can't wait to go out and do it again. Question number 2, is it durable? Hell yeah, it's durable. With the weight of the vehicle, the speed that it runs at, I was really expecting to shatter rear arms and all that kind of thing. And it actually held up, and you saw the video. You know I didn't land it cleanly every time. It cartwheeled, it bounced. It came out of the sky and dropped right on the side several times. And it was really ugly to watch, and I cringed as soon as it did it. But I was able to drive it right back to myself, and I only had to adjust that one tie rod, and everything worked. It's not making any funny sounds. Everything works as, you know, as advertised, and it's really impressive. I can't help it, guys. For durability, this is going to get 10 out of 10. And now question number 3. Is this thing worth the money? Well, you know, that's always a tough one. If you have the money to spend on it, and you're kind of torn between the Xmaxx, the Outcast, or this, you know, any of the big cars, the low C DBXLE 2.0, that one's really good too. This is the version 2, and it does have some upgrades. Like I said, this is new to me, so I don't know all of what's in there. I'll get some research into it for the brutal review, and you'll know all the details then. As for right now, is this thing worth the money? Well, it is a lot of money to throw at a car, guys. It's about $1,000 to get one of these things, and that's 4 figures. That's a lot of money. However, if you want the same thrill and you don't have that kind of money, the EXB Kraton or the Kraton version 5, they're 6S cars. They're stupid fast, they're fun, they handle good, and they're outstanding in that capacity. But if you've got to have something that's just a bit more, if you look at this thing in the store and go, I've got to have one of those, and you have the money to spend, I'm going to say it is worth the money, because we had an utter blast. We had no problems to speak of other than the one adjustment, which we've mentioned. And this thing is still ready to put batteries in and go again. The radio works good. All the controls within it are really smooth and easy. You can dial the brakes back just in the twist of a wrist, just like that. You can set back. If you're going to go off the big ramps with this though, what you want to do is just dial your AVC back some, because when it's really active, it'll make the car waggle in the air and it becomes unstable. And that's part of what caused me to come down on my side more than once. So the AVC needs to be dialed back a little bit, but it is really stable in the air once you do that. So as far as, is this worth the money? I'm going to give this 9 out of 10, because let's be honest, it is a lot of money. And finally, question number 4. Where does this stack up in my collection? You know, I tried to stay away from the 5th scale cars. They're just really big, and it's not like I can't move them around. I don't have a problem with that. They do take up a lot of space in the car. So if you have a truck, perfect. If you have a car, I hope you have a minivan or something with a decent trunk, because this thing's enormous in size, okay? That being said, if you've got the space for it and you've got a place to run it, this thing's amazing. And I don't say that lightly. I run a lot of cars, I run a lot of the high-end stuff, and I really do know the difference. So where this stacks up in my collection, I don't really need to think about this one, guys. This one goes right to number one. This is my favorite RC. Leading the pack at number one, it's the Kraton 8S version 2. So hey, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. It's awesome when you do, and it feels pretty good around here as well. You know, we try really hard to get the good content out there and be helpful. And as we play with this, we'll learn more, and that will be available when we do the brutal review. Remember, there's criteria for that. We have to have it for 4 months. We have to run a minimum of 12 battery sets through it, and we're already halfway there on that. However, we have to be able to do that, and it has to make one group event, which it just did for this video. So in 4 months, which I hate having to wait that long, but we really need to run a lot through it to understand this car deeply before we go into that brutal review criteria. So this is amazing. I'm really happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like I said, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification bell to stay informed. Hey guys, I'm AJ with AJ Jam Studios saying, keep bashing, guys.